break it down from there. Dostray says, niche heroes are never the issue, but Bastion terrorizes lower ranks and force a shit comp. New Bastion has more skill expression and is more fun with the mobility nade. In your opinion, I think it was an okay change, Dostray. The ultimate, I think, was pretty stupid.
The ult is awful.
It's like, let's just make it as unskilled and unfun as possible.
Like Junkertown too. It's just like either you die or you don't.
Yeah, it's exactly it. Like, why is hiding and standing still, like,
yeah,
considered a good ultimate? Anyways, the old ultimate is definitely better, Dostray says. Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's give us a little watch. Like I say, Aether's a little bit behind, so we'll give him time to catch up. And then we'll see what he has to say. I'll try and follow the Bastion here. He's coming down main. We'll get a little bit closer. Immediately I can see Doomfist missed his rollout on the Bastion, so Bastion can kind of just walk up for free to the high ground. Doom goes down right away. We're not even seeing that much from the Bastion right now. It's the rest of the team killing everything.
The ball is like just pushing the whole team back. They can't follow up on the Doom. I mean, he's not like engaging where his team would be able to follow up anyway.
I'll just pause for a second here, let Aether's screen catch up and kind of give the quick overview. Nothing major stands out so far. Of course, as Aether just said, the Doomfist is kind of engaging in a weird spot where his team can't follow up with anything, but he wants to engage in a spot where, of course, as many eyes are as possible on his type of engage. Doomfist kind of easily cuts him down, but they don't manage to push through that bad. Anything standing out so far to you?
No, not really. I mean, he got Suzu out. Probably got some charge for Zarya too.
Yep. Spotto W says, it feels like with old turret form, you actually needed to all in with his weakness being mobility, and the nade is genuinely skillless. It has the hitbox of Pluto and can bounce an infinite amount of time, like old scatter. There's trade-offs. I think there's a lot of trade-offs for it. Old Bastion was good in some ways, bad in others, and this new one's the same way. I think it's just like reverses the reverses like how good Bastion is in certain areas and how bad he is in others.
I mean, they're poking. Like, not doing anything.
I'm really not seeing anything Bastion specific, at least in this first point here.
Okay, the Illari got bombed and didn't go behind cover.
Here's what I'm gonna do. As much as I love the Twitch view, Aether, let me share my screen in Discord.
Gotcha.
I got that 4080, man. I gotta stretch its power. Gotta use every little bit of it. Alright. There we go. You can see it's live, yeah? We're good?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
The main thing I'm seeing is they don't have anything for the ball, right? Like, the ball is doing whatever he wants, and the Bastion is getting free space because of it. Or, I'm sorry, they don't have a... I'm getting confused. I looked at the other team.
Well, defenders don't have anything for the ball at all. Like, literally nothing, right? Maybe the sleep dart.
You can sleep him, but that's it.
But even the follow-up on the sleep isn't going to be that good. Like, maybe the Widowmaker could headshot a sleep wrecking ball, but it's still not going to put that much pressure on it. Spotto W says, do I have the game set to 4K? Do you mean, like, resolution? No, I'm 1440 right now. But sorry, go ahead.
No, I just think it's the ball getting value, not necessarily the Bastion. Like, his whole team is getting value because the ball is mostly uncontested.
What's following up, though? Because they have a Zarya, and I haven't really seen any... Like, if we pause this right now, I really want to make a point here. okay? And at some point we'll clip this and maybe we'll have like a how to play fucking 2 tanks, right? What is going on here? Like,
They're, I mean, it's just ball against like average players. Everybody's looking in different directions, and yeah, it's rough.
it is literally just ball fights. How's it going, Sheer OW in chat? Welcome in, welcome in. Just so everybody knows, Sheer's a long-term Scrub Club community member who hit top 500 on tank a while ago. So, you know, he's got his game sense down. Like, this does feel like it's just a Wrecking Ball game so far. Like, Wrecking Ball is the main tank and the rest of the team. What is how charges are you even at? 6.
Yeah, and their Widow's also at 50% ult, so they're losing the Widow fights too, which is the biggest thing on Junkertown. Like, you not only have like the ball space being made, but also the Widow.
Yeah, it's Widow dive at the moment. Widow dive with Wrecking Ball. They can grab out, just manage to stop him, but it's not gonna be enough to. Oh, it does kill him.
Oh, almost.
It looks like he has swapped off to Winston here. I guess because double sniper. Yeah, double sniper and triple, almost quadruple sniper at this point.
Yeah, there's some. The corridors on this map are like kind of weird, I think, to play ball into. Maybe Dostrick enlighten us. I think it's easier just to, like, you know, press shift and jump into the team, not having to like set up anything. Now he's on Hog.
He goes Hog. Dostray says he loves this map. Yeah, this is actually one of the Wrecking Ball's like most popular maps. Like I interviewed Bame1 a while ago too, and he said this was his favorite map on Wrecking Ball. So it's interesting he's swapping off, especially when he was getting that much value. But I'm still curious when this Bastion comes out and starts actually getting value.
Slept. Another just like random bomb.
Yeah, not much.
I think the Bastion is more just bait for everybody to like shoot out while their divers are actually like doing the work.
I have a really hard time tracking these when the tanks are so all over the place. Frost AFK says that was very messy. That was extremely messy. Like I say, I'm trying to like figure out where the core of the fight is. Is this why? Did they just like grab bomb the entire Bastion ult? And does he doesn't even get, he gets one elim off it.
Yeah, and then he pushes to follow up and just barely gets one. Like, he's so slow.
If anything so far, I'm not seeing anything that's making Bastion strong in this.
Not at all. Like, that could just as well be a Cassidy or a Hanzo or...
Like, yes, breaks the Winston bubble. Winston engages. Where the f did he go? Oh, I guess he's gonna go touch point. My only guess too would be that the defenders are like sticking to Winston. It seems like such a weird choice. Duster says people complain about Bastion in this specific game. Not in this specific game. Someone left a comment saying that this is a 65 elim Bastion game. Now I'm starting to question that potentially it's probably possibly because it's just a long game and that everyone got lots of elims because, well, also too, I've heard multiple people mention that Bastion may be a little bit strong, and even one of our very high elo players, Sky, was talking about Bastion being incredibly strong, and he's mentioned it a few times too. So I want to see instances of when Bastion is being played and when it looks like he's getting a lot of value. But really, so far, what we're just seeing is Ollie here, which I don't know why he swapped off ball. Like, Ollie's just been dominating their front line, breaking them up really hard. Excuse me. And then the other DPS has just been popping off. It's Ahmed there. So it could just be that Bastion's just stealing elims. And also, too, I've noticed that, like, because Bastion is, like, a lot of sound and flashing colors, people focus him a lot more, or like their attention is on him a lot more than possibly needed. So all comes out, gets absolutely nothing. How's it going, Placid? Welcome in, dude. Yeah, when he played ball again in defense, it was better. Oh, Frost, were you in this one? What's your in-game name? So we can see and judge. You're the Genji. Oh, you're the DPS that was popping off. Okay. Okay, we're just let's fast forward this. Big captive sun, but still doesn't do much. I think they just push it the whole way, don't they?
I'm chalking this one up to a tank.
To me, this looks like I didn't even think it's like both tank div. I think Ollie is just fucking rolling. Like this, he has been non-stop in the face of the enemy team the entire time. And like what?
Swapping to like ball, Winston, Hog, just like back and forth.
Yeah.
I can the ults, but I wonder if he's like even getting ults off.
And then like we just saw one grav, like the first grav on third point, right? Like, and yeah, it got lots of value, but it's really just been Ollie the whole time. And we're a quarter of the way through the whole game. I don't know if I want to watch this whole game if it's like this, but
yeah, I'm thinking it's not the Bastion.
It's definitely not the Bastion. We'll take a look a little bit on the defense. Obviously this goes into to other rounds, but we'll take a look and see.
Switching sides.
I'm gonna try and focus on the tank engages a little bit more here too, just to emphasize like how sloppy everybody is still with the tank engages. I wonder what rank Ollie is. Do I have him in my recent players? No, I don't. I haven't played with him. But it shows how teams are still pretty much playing like a main tank, or like, sorry, like a solo tank playstyle. It's really weird though. Why is he committing to the Winston the whole time?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I think Winston's good. I don't think there's like, if you're playing a dive tank, you just don't engage with the Bastion in the first place.
There we have like the classic solo. I remember I wasn't point this out. The classic solo engage from the tank, right? Possibly in 5v5 you might be able to get away with something like this. But really, it's really important to have your first engage to be like both of your tanks on whatever you're pushing. Or else what happens is the tanks just get offset. So like let's say Ball will jump in, even if he gets out, like you may go like, okay, ball survived, but then now he has no cooldowns, and then you're left with a tank, like a solo tank standing there with like nothing to help him at all. But since ball dies right away, we can actually see they're gonna push up really, really fast. Possibly, or they just start dying right away. Oh, they just start dying right away. But also too, this comes down to positioning, and this is kind of an unremarkable game just in general. It's like, okay, yeah, someone stands up. Let me show this off. Like, positioning is so important. Let's
they're all playing main.
Everybody's playing main. There's a Bastion, like aimed out main, aimed straight down main. Everybody just walks straight out. Right, Ana dies right away. Like, everybody's just kind of clumped up around this section, and all the defenders need to do is just hang out on the high ground and put pressure on them, because eventually they're gonna give up. Like, eventually they're gonna cave. Well, I'm sad so far. I was oh, go ahead.
Winston is creating negative pressure. He's jumping backwards.
Yeah, he's Bastion gets caught out, being pocketed by Kiriko though. Oh, they take him down. Well, I was hoping for like Bastion 5Ks and everything, but we're still seeing.
I think, like, what I'm seeing is a lot of teams like just don't know how to defend, and that's why you get these like super long games where they go like 3-3 and then like overtime on the next 2 rounds, and then it's like, I think a lot of people don't know like where to hold, or like how to hold, or like what they're supposed to do when the enemy team is walking at them.
That feels like a lower elo thing. I've heard many times. Who was it? Was it Super that said it's a defender's game? Or no, it was Surefour, I think. I'm mixing the two up. But that's really, really true. Like, the only reason why these guys got through is because of some mistakes. And I'm not going to go over the individual mistakes, like I say, because it's not really. This is so unremarkable. It's just like little tiny skirmishes over and over again, and then one person dies. And then another person dies, and then another person dies, right? What we should be expecting, and just kind of like, let me break this down in terms of like theory, is like how the two compositions can be kind of engaging in each other. You start with the tank, so like, I got the green team. Green team has Winston, Zarya, and red team has Sigma and Wrecking Ball, right? Well, really, we should be seeing this kind of like, well, double bubble, basically, from the Winston Zarya. Winston jumps in, Zarya bubbles, causes a bunch of chaos, Ana nades in whatever they're jumping in, right? And then you have this, like, giant engagement. Genji dives in when the nade comes out, and then fight is over. It's, like, really, really quick, right? Maybe Widow gets a headshot here and there. These fights, with just that team composition, they should never be long, drawn-out fights. Welcome in by the Lemon, by the ways. In chat, how you doing today? They should never be, like, by definition of the heroes that are being played. If you look on the enemy team, the same thing applies, right? Like, you're running Sigma Ball. Yes, Ball's going to be fairly independent, but it's going to give Sigma the space to kind of like wander throughout the entire field, and then Zen's going to be discording someone, Ball jumps on that thing, Bastion and everybody shoots it. The fight should be instant. Like, these fights with these compositions, they're not meant to sustain in any way, but yet we're seeing a sustained fight. It's just awkward. It's and it just becomes it. I think it brings back to like Aether's point too, is that a lot of people don't know how to defend, and so when the elos are a little bit weird and kind of offset, we're seeing an inconsistent level of engage. So Ollie is engaging right away and getting picks and really pushing in and really pushing hard, but the rest of the team they're kind of skirmishing and not really fully committing to any types of engage. Frost AFK says, where should you so where should you position with Genji to follow up with the engagement? We can take a look from your view. One second here. I think you were doing fine this game so far from the top-down view. Aether, any points on Ahmed here? That's
I have not been paying attention. I think like on the first round attack, like I saw him following up with his Winston like pretty good.
Like in theory, your engage should be with your Winston Zarya engage, right? Like the optimal engage is that when you see that anti-nade go out, like you'll be scrapping around where the Winston is fighting, because when the Winston gets bubbled and that, excuse me, those extra cooldowns come out, you want to be very opportunistic, right? You want to finish off all of those extra kills as you jump in there. Right now, this is a little bit harder to see because your tanks are kind of split. We're seeing these very scattered fights. And also too, like your team is it's working, like I said, just because Ollie's doing such a good job at main tank. We're seeing these very scattered fights, so it's not as easy for you to sorry, what I'm talking about. Yeah, you're on this on the other team. I was talking about the other team. Go back. Let's talk about like the Ball and the Sigma, right? You should be, and actually Zenyatta, you should be watching for the discorded target. I'm getting confused. The discorded target, and then when the Ball engages, that's when you jump in and you're ready to kind of fight on that spot. And then you'll be using the Sigma to push yourself in safely into those spaces. You're using the Sigma to get as close as you can to where the Ball is fighting and what the Ball is engaging on, and what the Zenyatta has discorded, right? So from both teams' perspectives, these fights should be really fast, and that is your goal as Genji, is to end the fights as fast as possible. You're very much a follow-up kind of character in this composition. Unless Aether, do you have any other way of putting that, or is that, I think that's a pretty concise.
I think Genji has just as much agency to initiate a dive as Ball does, right? Because he's poking harder. He's safer when he does dive because he has the dash reset. Like he can take the off angles and kind of call where the ball should be slamming. I don't think it's like one follows up on the other. I think it's like they're very much working together.
Yeah, they still should be engaging. My kind of point in that is they should be engaging in the same space on the same thing, right? Like that is your objective. If you find yourself fighting anything separate from what your tanks are fighting, then you're kind of you're picking an ego duel at that point. Like this was a bit of an ego duel, right? Where, back it up just a little bit. So they pull sights on you, which they can see you obviously. You can see your team backing up. And then we ask ourselves, like, where is our wrecking ball? He's dead. So what is the purpose of pushing forward, and what is the purpose of like putting pressure on your team or putting on pressure on the enemy team like this? Yes, if you got the kill, ego duel all your fucking heart's content, you know, like go ahead, right? That's totally fine. But we're going to be trying to build that like that cohesive engagement every single fight, or else you're going to get caught out. And in many cases, you can kind of predict when you're going to die just based on like whether or not someone's picking the ego duel. That was like the worst time to go start looking at you though, because you've been doing absolutely great up until then. I think we'll watch a little bit more too from the Genji perspective, just because we have the Genji in chat right now, and then we can go take a look at some other games too.
I think maybe watching the Zarya there for like a half second more, cause like it was good forcing the bubble out and then like getting on a different target. But like if she's not getting healed up, then you can commit on her after the bubble's gone. So just like make sure she's like, if she's not safe, like that's your job to go finish her off. And I don't think she was. Like I don't think her supports were really looking at her.
Especially in 6v6 with the health pool just a little bit lower. That is a free kill. Almost. Bubble goes down. Yep, that's a free kill. You are absolutely correct. Now, I want to point this out, and just to keep consistent, because I don't know, just so the new viewers in here kind of know what's going on. I always want to focus on the things that are the worst, and I'm sorry everybody who's heard this already, kind of getting bored of hearing it. But I want to focus on the things that are like the worst mistakes that somebody has when playing, as opposed to like what are the small things that they can get better at, right? And we saw one example of follow-up and commitment, or like a wobbly follow-up and commitment. Broken sentence. Let me try that again. We saw some... I don't even know how to put it. Okay, my brain's not putting that sentence together. Anyways, you could have committed onto the Zarya here and finished her off, but then we're also seeing another moment, and this is like a millisecond moment, but you have dash. That's a free kill.
Yeah, like even if that Genji isn't one, if you see the sticky bomb on somebody, like just dash them. Like that's so much burst damage.
Now, I see this a lot of the times, and there's some very good Genjis out there that don't do this properly. But there's a lot of Genjis out there that have a hard time committing and trusting their mechanics, right? So especially like we pointed out with that Zarya, with the bubble, sometimes you should just trust your mechanics and go, you know what, I'm gonna kill this fucking Zarya, right? In this instance, you could have gone like, I trust my mechanics, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna kill this Genji. There's a lot of hesitation going on because, of course, Genjis get punished a lot for making bad mistakes, for making small mistakes, but then there's a lot of times where if you don't make those mistakes, then you just win, right? Like the goal is like just to not make the mistakes. And I know it sounds like a very simple way of putting it, but we just saw two very clear examples where you could have killed the Zarya just by, you know, not making mistakes and engaging on her, and you could have easily killed that Genji by not making mistakes and engaging on him. So anyways, just... And I'm never going to point this out unless I spend a lot of time working with someone to figure out what their issues are. But this is something to highlight, like just a quick note to be like, you know, we've seen two examples where I haven't full engaged. Maybe I have a problem with full engaging, and then you can kind of build it off from there. So
I feel like a lot of players do that. They'll initially like go for really aggressive stuff, and then they'll be like, oh, that didn't work out, I should like stop trying that.
Yeah.
You need to keep trying that. Like, you're not going to get practice in those situations if you don't just like commit to it.
Frost AFK says you're playing safe because you felt you were feeding. There's a fine line between feeding and rolling, right?
Very
like,
fine line.
So like if you pressure that fine line, this fight that you're having right now wouldn't have even happened. Now that you're like, this is the secondary result of you not following up on the Zarya and not following up on the Genji, right? So even, and actually you'll see this a lot. I'll point this out. You'll see this with streamers, a whole bunch, top 500 streamers. Like, they'll play a game, they'll roll the enemy team. They'll play the next game, they'll die, they'll fight, next fight. They'll play next fight, they'll die. The next fight, they'll die. The next fight, and you're like, this guy is feeding and he's top 500. What the hell? How is he top 500 and he's dying so much in these games, right? Well, the question is not like, not what is he, or not how is he feeding, but what is he doing while he's feeding, right? What is the thing that he's attempting to go for? Because those who attempt to go for those things end up winning more games and then end up in top 500. But if you don't attempt them, then you never have the opportunity to win the game. So there's like a weird little balance between doing stuff that would be full throwing and looks like full throwing when it's failing, and stuff that's like actually winning the game but looks like it's full throwing anyway. So there's a big gap there, and this is one of them.
Yeah, I feed my ass off on Lucio like all the time, and I win like 95% of the games I play Lucio.
Lucio's an excellent example. Yeah, that's... Like, I'll even point this out, because Aether's here, I can even point out. So, people like Aether and XD, like, they're very good players. They fucking seem like they're trolling half the time, okay? Aether, I've been in groups before, right, where you've been muted and you're not interacting with... I'm pretty sure you've even heard this, right? And we have gold players on the team, and they're like, oh, this guy's throwing our gay, right? Like, and it's so clear that you're not, right? You're because you're attempting to execute the things that like guarantee the victory, right? And
Yeah, it's
even
like, no, like feed with me, brother. Like, I want you. Let's commit together.
Exactly. And then that like pushes you over the limit of winning those games. So I know we've had a lot of time on just like this one point with Genji in particular, but I think Genji is one of those characters, especially with the dash reset, you have like committing to those like almost suicidal acts really make and break a good Genji player versus just an average Genji player, right? So yeah, anyways, I'll keep playing through this. Let's see what else we can see. There's a big sin, Aether, that I'm seeing. What are you seeing it too right away?
I looked away from my monitor for 5 seconds. I'm sorry.
Oh wait, we have the famous top 500 Queen Alex joining us.
Hi.
How you doing, Alex?
Good, how are you?
Good. We're just doing oh, excuse me, I'm dying. We're just doing 6v6 game reviews right now. We were yeah, of course, welcome to hang out and chill, but that's it. Hi, welcome.
Hi.
Just so everybody knows, go follow her Twitter, Queen Alex. What is it, at Alex?
Do I have a Twitter?
I don't know. Can you shill your socials right now? Anyways, Alex is a long-term community supporter. Love her, she's great. Suffered through all of my punishments and scraps. It's been good fun.
You mean all the teeny tiny baguettes?
yeah. Anyway, all right, let's keep going here. What do you? Here, let me play this again. And there is a sin, which is one of the which I have always been told, and I've never been Grandmaster, so I can't say that this is what it takes or this matters that much. But every time I've had somebody coach me, all right, there's something that happens here that I always get shit on for and get told that this is the easiest thing not to do. So I'm gonna play this. I want Aether to see if he sees it too. Not here. Well, nope, not here. And starting right here.
Backing up when he doesn't need to. He's still backing up when he doesn't need to.
Mm-hmm. He's got ultimate, and he's participating in spam damage, and he's giving off his position rather than setting up somewhere, hiding for the perfect fucking blade. All right? That's what I'm seeing. Right? You have all of this time. You have like this basically almost one-shot capability. Almost. I know it's not perfect. But why are you participating in the spam fight right now? Right? There would be a reason in certain ways. Let's say there's, I don't know, I'm just going to use the example. You're spamming at the Ana to get her nade out so that when you blade her, she doesn't nade her feet, right? But randomly throwing damage into the enemy team just means that they're going to have more options. They're going to build more support ults to deal with your blade. And I've been told this over and over and over and over and over and over again not to fucking do, because it's so easy. Normally, when both teams don't have ultimates and they're throwing damage at each other, there's a relatively equal amount of value. And this is where Aether was pointing out before, and I'm still going to argue against him feeding on D.Va all the time. But that's where he's like, okay, if I take damage on D.Va, my supports also get all charge, right? You have like a back and forth. But here's the thing. If one of you has ultimates and you're doing damage to the enemy team, the only thing you're doing is you're giving them ultimates. That's literally the only thing. And you're wasting your own cooldowns. So when Aether's saying you're backing up, yeah, like why are you like giving up this extra? You have all of the advantages in the world. You have like one of those powerful cooldowns. You even have like, look at your team too. Your team has like ultimates coming online. You've got mines. You got Kitsune Rush coming up, right? Like just pressure the fuck out of them and ult their ass where they are. There's no point in just wasting time spamming. Do you disagree there? Or is that, am I?
I think,
yeah.
yeah, I would be playing like on the door here, like just to the right side. Like you want to split their attention, and I don't even necessarily think you have to like even be looking for ult. Like I would rather like not use ult if I don't have to. Like they're walking up this tiny little corridor into a Sig Bastion, you can just like help pressure that.
Yeah, that's, I don't even want, actually, that's a good point too. Ulting is like, you're committing a lot of value, so if you can save ult for a better time, yeah, do that, right? Like that's what you want to do. But like standing and spamming and you just see like you've used Swift Strike to get out, or sorry, you used your Reflect to get out. You could just be pressuring them right now. You guys end up winning the fight, but I'm every time I see that, because I've been roasted so many times for that when I've been coached, where it's just like, why are you just giving them all charge? Alex, thank you so much for the gifted subs. 5 gifted tier 1 subs. I appreciate it. The viewers appreciate it. Nobody likes ads. Oh, it looks like Aether, Spot, Sheer, Lemons, and Mocha.
Wow, thank you.
Oh. They will appreciate not having to watch ads.
I'm sure they will. Enjoy, guys.
Thank you so much, Alex. You're awesome. All right.
Yeah,
Now,
I think it's just a matter of like, you're like, what are you contributing and playing in the same spot as your Sigma bad thing? Like you're not doing any meaningful damage. Like you might as well like off angle pressure somewhere else. Like, split their attention.
especially as Genji.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're Cassidy or Soldier 76, you can kind of get away with it, but
I feel like this is all super minor. They're kind of rolling.
I will also point out, and it's getting close to that moment, just as a prep, all right, if you lose a fight with an ultimate, it's your fucking fault, okay? Now, there are exceptions, all right? You can roast me on this, no problem, okay? But if your team starts losing and you have an ultimate, there is 100% chance that you probably could have used the ultimate to stop the fight from being lost. Now, obviously, with some ults, it's different than others. With some compositions, it's different. There's different weights to these kind of things, right? But it is like so Jimmy rustling to see, and it hasn't happened. I'm gonna let it play. I think you guys actually win this fight. But if I saw this fight go on and you still have Wrecking Ball ult and you still have Blade and you lose it, oh my god, I'd tilt so hard. And the ground is dangerous, apparently. Oh, so is the wall. What's going on here? Oh, something else.
Advanced tactics.
Ah, yes. Disconnect? Oh, he disconnected. And you lost Blade. Because you disconnected. Oh. Oh, you had... Jimmy's rustled. All right. You could have won that fight. You could have disconnected and been back before the next fight. Placid said Overwatch gods are smiting you for holding Blade. Jesus Christ. I just realized too, you just disconnected. We like ripped past that and Ollie almost has a second fucking like mines coming up. Jesus. This guy's crazy. I will mention, just to be that guy, you can practice your aim a little better with Genji.
I think the mechanics look good.
They're okay, they're good. They're good. They're good. They're better than mine. They can be better.
Yeah, I think you can leverage that to play even more aggressive. And the more aggressive you play, the more practice you'll have you know, fighting in weird situations, the better your mechanics get.
So just to break that down, I can actually take this 1 second, just show you. I love the pressure. This is good pressure.
Area denial.
This right here. Ball slams in.
No recovery.
Nade comes out. You right click, swift strike in. You have no idea where they are. There is no control here. Right? Now, I don't know what rank you are. If you want to share it, you're welcome. Right? If I was trying to hire you for my professional league, I might not hire you, but I would still consider this way better than what I could do. Way better, right? Like your mechanics are still really good on Genji, but this to me is like a very clear sign of like something. There's a small bit of refinement that can happen. That, as Aether was saying, if you use that like little extra 5% of the power, it would enable you to do significant amounts of extra damage, right? Like you would be able to put a lot more pressure on the enemy team and probably win a lot more fights. Like that gets a kill because of the Moira orb, but you can kill Sojourn, no problem. And you end up getting them, but that to me is just the sign. I've seen it so many times, reviewed so many games of players, right? It's how the control happens. Especially, I learned this mostly playing Tracer, so just a good example of this. When you blink as Tracer, you want to make sure where you end up is in the position and angle you would like to be aiming. And if you don't do that, you end up going, "Oh, where's the enemy? Where's the enemy?" Looking around, and it's really hard to see. Queen or Alex, is that a devil hanging in green room? It's like D ...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I can drag him in here. 1 sec.
I got it.
Oh, I got him. What's going on, Devil?
Hello?
Hello? Hi. Hello? Devil? Devil? You can hear me, yeah, Devil? Maybe? Maybe? Oh, he can't. Anyways, we'll wait until he interrupts me while I'm doing my VOD.
His headset did die, so a second.
That's all right. Just so everybody knows too, Davil is another one of the community supporters, Patreon supporters. Awesome guy. He's been buying a bunch of scraps and stuff like that. You can see him in the videos. You probably see his name and stuff around. He can't. Oh, I see. Can you hear? Maybe?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. Welcome in, Davil. Aether and I were just doing 6v6 reviews right now. I think it'd be fun to put together some videos and whatnot to help people kind of get an idea and a feel for how they should be playing around 6v6. So welcome in. Yeah, I don't know if you just want to sit and listen and hang out. If not, or if yeah, then cool. You're welcome. If not, then yeah. Anyways, you know how it goes.
Yep.
All right. Okay.
I don't know how much I'm trying to play or anything, so.
No. I said we're not playing right now. We're just doing VOD reviews at the moment, on stream with a bunch of people. So yeah. It like I said, I love you being here. You're totally welcome to hang out. It's just that if you want to talk about Power World or something or what, just we're just keeping the topic on the tracks, I guess. I don't know. Anyways.
I got you.
This is a professional stream, okay? We are professional content creators, I think. Anyways. All right, back to roasting Genji for him doing stuff that I can't actually do myself. Oh. Okay, I will point out something cool, and just a note that I'll bring up for those who are lower elos and don't really know what goes on there. There's a general concept in Overwatch that spawn camping is good for your team in a way that if you die at the enemy team spawn, by the time the enemy team is ready to fight again, you have already respawned and you're ready to go. Okay, so even though like Genji died here and we're moving on to the next fight, it doesn't really matter that much, because stalling it out at the enemy spawn means they have to wait to respawn, you respawn, and then you have extra time to get back and prepped and ready for the next fight. Not always perfect, but there are things, and actually, like I say, Aether and I kind of brought some stuff up a little bit earlier about this. That's kind of where that edge of like feeding and actually winning comes in, because sometimes if you die in the right place, then it's actually advantageous for your team. So we'll keep playing it here.
Let the kitsune guide you.
Risky engage on the what's his face Sigma, but it worked out. So when does the Bastion start taking over this game? That's what I'm curious. Frost, can you give us some context on that in chat there? Like, why did they say this was a crazy Bastion game? I guess they just said the elims. They didn't really say anything else about it. Maybe now?
Yeah, I think he's just getting chip on like every kill.
I leave flames in my wake.
10 seconds remaining.
The odds are against us. Your modifications are primitive.
Placid said maybe, or you don't know, maybe it's just the lower average elos struggling. We have a very, there's one person in particular, Sky, that brought it up a few times. There's other people that have brought it up.
Shit.
But I think, yeah, like, you know, I think it shows you can be high elo and wrong, you know. But I'll trust him on it in some ways, but I don't think it's as powerful as what's shown. I want to point something out. Okay. And I'm on the edge of this one too. I'm curious what Aether's thoughts on it are. You have Blade right now. I don't like it. And I don't think it's productive when someone has ultimate and your teammates are still dying. And I know Blade isn't really a like save your team ultimate, but it really can be. Where is it? When does it start happening? Let's pass this. Oh yeah, so you win this fight. It was next fight. Sorry, I went back too far.
30 seconds.
Hey, and Carrie, thank you so much for the resub. 27 months, dude. It's been a crazy, crazy time.
You should have stopped chasing this queen like 5 seconds ago. Like, you can mark her and tell your team she's there, but like, if the queen's there, then she's not with her backline, and that's like who you can actually kill.
No holding back.
Hello.
Can you just blade her? Maybe that's my. I think that's.
No, no.
No, you don't think so?
You get
Okay.
axed and you get one tap headshot.
I guess so. I guess so. Yeah. Okay. So it's right here that I start to question things a little bit. So like your ball goes down right away, and then your Moira goes down. I feel like we could have set the fight up earlier. Maybe it's just me that everything was too scattered. Maybe it's more of a team thing.
You just chase the queen too long. Like, you
Yeah.
should be on a high ground before that, so you can like scout and see if Blade is like a good option. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely it. Like chasing the queen too much meant that you like gave up all of this extra space for these guys to walk through for free, right? They just kind of like, they just wandered their way onto the onto the battlefield. If you set yourself up earlier, and it's not even, and again, as Aether said before, it's not even just about using Blade. Even if you could save Blade and still get the kills, it's worth it. But there's no point in you scrapping with a Queen when there's like a 200 health squishy sitting right here. They're very, very easy to kill. They're very, very easy to push up on. And with some good mechanics, you can one-shot them even without your ultimate, right? So, like, this is like the onset punishment for not properly having set up before this fight.
Meteor strike.
Who wants their guts handed to her?
The payload is Girl, the Mahal.
Is there a reason to let... God, man, I just like Blade. I just want Blade. I just want Blade.
Been Overwatch 3 Blade.
Damn rights. Come on, respawn. There we go. I would much rather prefer a Blade that you'd use as close to their fucking spawn, get one kill and die, than a Blade that you save to the very, very, very end of OT and die. Right? Like, this is such a common sight, and I understand there's always like the wait, there's gonna be a better moment. There's gonna be a better moment. There's gonna be a better moment. And it's very hard to like look into the future and be like, oh, there was never a better moment.
Time for the reckoning.
But it just seems like such a waste of resources. Okay, not to be toxic either. What has your tank done? What has your second tank? What has this fungi guy done? The entire game. Any? Either you seen him at all?
No, I guess not. I'm watching the Genji.
I'm laughing too because like we should even be able to see the tanks set up for the Genji. Right? Like, you'd be like, oh yeah, you know, we've seen Doom punch a bunch of people into the wall, or we've seen what I don't even know what tank he was playing here. He's Doomfist the whole time? Sigma. Oh yeah, Sigma back here. Like, we should be like, you know, it'd be like, oh yeah, we saw him rock this person, and then, you know, they killed this person, and then, you know, like, you have like something to show the presence of the person. But we haven't seen a flux. I haven't even seen a rock that stops anything. I don't know yet. This is a very interesting game. We'll watch it to the end because I'm invested in Frost's Genji play here. Let me forward further. Missing a whole bunch. There we go. Feels like the replay viewer is loading slow today. I don't know what's going on.
Stop the payload.
Enemy turret ahead.
Okay, we're gonna focus on a bunch of small little things.
Ready for battle.
Because I like wasting time. It's fine. No, I like talking about this stuff. This is, with engages like this, and I've seen this all the time. I've seen so many people do it, especially so many lower elo players do it. Why do you start shooting right here? He doesn't know you're there. He has no idea that you're there, but you start shooting right away as soon as you step over. Wait for a fraction of a second longer, and that little bit of extra health that he got away with, you could kill them, right?
Yeah, you have time to line up all of your headshots there.
And let him come out of the door just a little bit, right? Because then you can Swift strike him, and then you kill him. So there's a lot of these moments I'm seeing where just tiny. And this is where Genji is kind of cool. There's tiny little mechanical like refinements will allow you to kill these people, and then I'll bring it back to what Aether said, it allows you to put more pressure on the team, right? Just executing that much tiny bit more power allows you, or opens up all these opportunities for jumping around the team and killing everybody. Because you went from having an advantage, now you're on your back foot. You turned your advantage into a disadvantage.
I think the one other thing is too, like, when you're sitting there like right outside the spawn, you're moving around a lot, and like I noticed this a lot in our games, is like people don't really listen for footsteps. But if that widow was listening for footsteps, she would have just like looked at you and shot you the moment you clambered over the ledge. Like, you should be standing still.
Yeah, there's small little tricks to that too. Like, you can move when you hear firing, or if you hear like the entire enemy team is like jumping around and stuff like that, then you can mask your footsteps to like the action that's going on. But that's absolutely, yeah, if that widow was listening, you would have been dead much earlier. Not gonna stop at every moment, but that was one of those times, just a little bit more refined engage. You could have turned this loss or this section into a victory, no problem.
Yeah, like the widow's standing still. You also stand still and line up all your shots and like basically get as much value as you can.
I will actually use that. That's a good point. You'll see this with higher elos quite a bit. Sometimes it seems like they're like throwing how slow they're moving, but they're actually moving faster than everybody too in the same way, right? You can make shooting people hard by moving, right? Like, that's literally an issue. So if you like take a second, set yourself up with the shot, not only do they not hear your footsteps, right? You can make it way easier on yourself to actually take the shot. I know this from working with a Hanzo main who, you know, he's actually probably in chat, or I hope, I don't know if he's anyways, where taking a fraction of a second to stop moving and then taking the shot will like massively Kiri in there. Hey, there we go. Kiri there. We learned this like practicing quite a bit, where if you take an extra second, stand still, line up the shot, and then take it, it just makes life so much easier. Right? There's a lot of things that you can do to make the shot hard for yourself. And I've seen this happen where someone's like, it's like the perfect shot. It's so easy. Someone's there, easily killed. They're just ready to go. And then someone decides, I'm going to go run to the left and then take the shot. It's just not worth it. And you're doing a lot of engages where you're running up walls and double jumping. And, you know, like, I think it's just I'm curious if what Aether's opinion on this is. I think this Genji is a very, very good Genji, but is slightly limited by like their mechanical combos on how they engage. Like, there's a lot of it seems like they are trying to engage at the right time and trying to engage around the right things, and potentially would be, but we're seeing like slightly sloppy setups to it. What do you think, Aether?
Yeah, a little spazzy. I think like most of your ideas are totally right. It's just like, yeah, like moving your aim around, or even just like moving your character around when you don't need to. It's like, you can make it a lot simpler for yourself just by smoothing things out.
Start it up as you get punched. Frost says they missed these tiny things. Absolutely. I would highly recommend going and finding like if you want to keep playing Genji, a Genji specific community, because those are the places where people will give you like the combos. Right? Those are the
just like, you can watch good players play Genji.
Yeah.
Like, just like POV from their streams.
And they'll always,
how I got good at Overwatch is I would watch exclusively Korean OWL players, and I would just emulate what they did.
there will be always like little specific things, like when you go up against this hero, their hitbox has this stick out. Why are you taking so long to spawn here? What the fuck? Yeah, this hero's head hitbox sticks out this much, so with this weapon you can aim from this angle, or like and I know specifically with Genji, it's like when you go to engage somebody and you swift strike into them, I'm sure you already know this, I'm not saying much, but you swift strike into the ground, so it limits how far you go and can like stop your engage and put you in a very specific spot. With some heroes, that distance changes, right? If it's a bigger character, you can be back a little bit. If it's a smaller character and the head hitbox is in a very specific spot, you can be a bit closer, or all those kind of different things. Frost says, you know the Genji combos, but you think these combos are not good if you can't one-shot enemies. It's kind of, you can know the combos, but the execution is so valuable. Like, yeah. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, we had a healing. Okay. Didn't see that. I was like, maybe you could have killed him. Yikes, tunnel vision there. I don't like this. I don't think you need to do this if you have good mechanics. Spam away in the air. Widowmaker in the back, half health. I don't think you're gonna kill her, so like, There's people out in the open. Look at the Ana right there. Yeah, target focus. A little rocky. All right, we'll watch it to the end of this one. Like I say, because we're committed. Just a heads up too, guys, if anybody watching wants us to go over any of their games, preferably 6v6 games, I would like to focus on them today, just because they are interesting and new, and everybody's playing them is garbage at playing them right now, so being able to review and think about the game as 6v6 is quite nice. But if we don't have anybody for the 6v6 games, we might look at one of mine from somebody else's view. Actually, I know... Or wait, we got Placid in chat. I know Placid's played a few. Maybe he can send us something. But we can take a look at some 5v5 games if needed a little bit later. I don't know too. It's 5:18. I might slip out for dinner after another VOD review or so. But yeah, just a heads up, guys. If you want to have your games taken a look at, send me the code either through Discord. You can do !Discord to join the Discord, or you can send it through chat and I'll drag it in here. Oh, he's going far now. Okay.
So let's give it to them.
That reminds me of the good old days in TF2, playing soldier and then having a medic heal you and getting Uber before the game starts.
I can't heal you if you stray.
It'd be cool if that worked in Overwatch.
Yeah. Might be a little cheap, but you know.
Oh yeah, it would be.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
Frost says Tracer is bad here. You think? Were you thinking about playing Tracer? I don't think Tracer is bad here. I think Tracer would be very good here. Far can work. The issue is they have a Widow and a Soldier. They already have hit scan players. Actually, and even Ana and Alari, so you're gonna have a hard time. But what the heck is their Widow doing?
I'm on top of the world.
They watch Kefri, it's okay.
I've seen all the bronze grandmasters, okay? Every single one. Okay, I'm gonna give you something quickly, which is about Pharah, which is pretty, actually, yeah, which overlaps a little bit with Genji's, especially with Pharah's new changes, all of her mobility changes. Your ability to go in and assassinate people, especially with the 200 health and 6v6, is just way better than it's ever been in any state of Overwatch at all. This standing back and flying and spamming playstyle and then pushing out the tanks is okay in some way if you're relying on the rest of your team to make these plays, but especially if, like, if you, and it depends on your level of mechanics and stuff like that, but if you trust your mechanics and you trust that you can two-shot someone, you're much better off trying to lurk your way through the battlefield, finding a squishy and just popping them off. Much better than this kind of play right now, which I know you're playing to survive, but notice, especially Pharah has this issue where when she aims at something like a Roadhog and then flies over, it exposes the rest of herself to the rest of the team. So hyper focusing on something that can just tank damage is not always the best choice because it does expose you to other things.
Let's get the payload going.
The right click! The right click! You can boost yourself! Killing me.
Perfect 60 seconds. Excellent teamwork. En route.
You depend on assassinated, but they always have 3 or 4 hit scans. My issue is not, my issue is not that you're not trying it. My issue is that you're going after the Roadhog while still flying around out in the open. That's my issue, right? Like, you want to do one thing or the other. You don't want to like try to find a mobile position while fighting at the same time, right? You all like your engage should be very concise.
Enemy turret ahead.
Like here is Pharah. You should be getting yourself up here. Like that's a free kill for one. But then also if they push out, you just drop on their heads and you shoot them. Right, we're doing it. And I know we're stuck back here from before, but you're kind of meandering your way over. Don't meander. No, especially with all the mobility. You have boost and you have your right click boost. You have double boost.
Barrier initialized.
Help me move the payload.
This is so sketchy. Like, I just don't push yourself. This I'm not gonna spend the entire last bit of this going over Pharah, but don't do this. You're just as much of an assassin as Genji is. So don't set yourself up to spam damage like this.
30 seconds remaining.
This is death.
Turret protected. Don't let up. You don't have the time. My rockets are for you.
Payload has reached the checkpoint. 10 seconds
This is our last attack. Give it everything.
Yeah. I'm not gonna go too detailed in the Pharah stuff, but I don't. Why you go set up? Don't wave to your frickin' team. It's killing me. Nice.
Heat check confirmed. Thanks for the assist.
Oh, I'm not gonna focus on that either. Well, actually, yeah, I will, just for a second here. This is that big thing, guys, where you're scrapping in the front line for no reason. It's the same thing we saw you playing Genji, just throwing shurikens down main, not set up for anything, right? Like, you have ultimate, all of that spam damage you did just added to the ult charge of the supports,
is approaching.
and then gave away your position. And then got you killed in the end. You guys end up winning. That's great. Thumbs up. good game as is. So question, I'm going to question you, Aether. What do you think that Frost's worst, easiest trait to address is?
I think just go harder. Like, I think you spend like a little too much time like kind of figuring out like who you're supposed to be like poking and who you're supposed to be committing to. I think it's just a matter of like being sure about your target priority and yeah, being confident in your mechanics.
I believe so too. Absolutely. Oh, they just disappeared. Alex and Dale just disappeared. Anyways, I absolutely agree. I think you can execute and kill things much quicker than what you're already doing, and then it'll actually make fights a lot easier in the long run, because right now you're extending these fights out into these long fights, these long scraps that are relatively unnecessary. But they work really well. Like it would say, but it works really well when you're aggressive, when you commit hard and you push and you know what you're doing, you know what you're going for. Because right now a lot of it's just like, there's damage. I'm just gonna throw shurikens everywhere, and then there's someone who's low. I'm gonna Swift Strike in and hopefully kill him. We want to be a little bit more like, I'm gonna place 3 shurikens into this guy's skull and then walk up to him and then right click him once and that's it, right? With a little bit more refinement in there. So.
Yeah, I think having a better macro, like figuring out like beforehand where you want to be positioned and like where they're going to be positioned, like where you can get your most value. I think you're kind of just like, what's the word? Just like freeballing it.
Yeah, improvising.
Yeah. That's all.
Awesome. Coaching helped you a lot. You're thankful. I will also point out too, in the 6v6 format, especially when you're playing with us in the 6v6, that level of aggression is much more rewarding. You do have to be very patient in the higher health pool 5v5 game modes. They're okay, but there's a reason why a lot of us don't play those 5v5 game modes. It's because they don't reward that level of like, what's the word for it? I guess aggression, or they don't reward that level of like risk and reward that comes with full committing on whatever you're attempting to engage. So definitely keep that in mind though too, when versus playing 6v6 versus when you're playing the actual solo competitive game. But I think the same thing, I know for sure the same thing will apply even when you're playing 5v5. The breakpoints change a little bit, but the level of like, I know this is where I want to go, this is what I want to do, has to be there. It has to be precise. Anyways, all right. Actually, what time is it right now? 5:30. We spent a lot of time on that one review. 1 second. Actually, we'll take the second anyways. Does anybody have any questions right now? I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna wrap it up so I can go get myself some dinner and go get myself something to drink. It's a relatively short stream. I think we're going for about 4 hours right now, so it's not too bad. But Frost asks, what if your tanks don't make good plays to follow up? What do you think, Aether?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You're Genji. you can go anywhere on the map you want to. And if you kill somebody, you have a free escape, and you can kind of tank for yourself with deflect. You can pressure any range with left click or right click. You have so many options on Genji. It's a really like skill expressive hero. Like no matter what the situation is, there's a way for you to figure it out and get value on Genji.
That's an excellent point. The tanks don't really matter because you can pull 1v1s here and there that you can basically win no matter what. Even in 5v5. So there's a reason why Moira is incredibly dangerous at low elos and not so dangerous at high elos. Why is that? Because at low elos, Genjos go, throw shurikens, I miss, throw shurikens, I miss, I throw shurikens, I miss. And then Moira, chews you down slowly, right? But at high elos, it like Moira just is, you just fucking right click her and she's dead, right? So what does it matter if your tank isn't doing the job that they're supposed to be doing if by the time, I don't know, the Moira or the Sojourn or the whatever character pushes up on you that you just casually throw 3 shurikens into their face and then swift strike them melee and whatever you do to kill them there, right? Like executing that much means you don't have to rely on your tanks. And so, like, even though Aether said it is kind of like just off the sides, like, doesn't really matter. No, it really doesn't matter when you're executing that hard, when you're committing and pushing. Because you'll just find that you kill their entire enemy team and there's just the tanks left. And you're like, wow, okay, fuck, that was easy, right? There's, you want to go after the squishy parts of the team, and those are the only issues. The tanks are just kind of, like, actually, and I will add one more point on this too. Don't let the enemy tanks figure out where you are. That's a huge part of it. Like a huge part of it. If you're fighting and the tanks know where you are, then that's when the tanks matter, right? That's when your tanks have to deal with their tanks. That's because your tanks need to get in the way of their tanks from killing you. But if their tanks don't even know where you are and you've set yourself up somewhere safe and you've engaged properly, their enemy tanks don't even matter to you. Your tanks don't even matter to you. It's more of just like these kind of quick skirmishes. And it gets harder the higher you go, way harder the higher you go because people make less mistakes, but it still applies there. Again, you can kind of roll. All right. Any other questions or anything like that? I do have a quick question for Aether before we slip out, but does chat have anything else that they would like us to quickly take a peek at here? I've got a few minutes. Chat's moving too fast, guys. I can't see it. Slow down, everybody. All these questions. All right, I'm actually really curious, Aether. In terms of tank combos, what do you think is probably the stronger tank combo of the new Overwatch 2 tanks? This is where I want to try and find VOD reviews of these types of games and potentially review them and see. But is there something that is standing out to you quite a bit recently that you know that maybe is either too powerful or is just powerful enough to be a really good tank combo?
Like combos of 2 tanks that are both from Overwatch 2, or like one and
just,
the other?
Just one, like it just could be like I don't know, Reinhardt and Junker Queen, right? Like that to me, something that involves the newer tanks that, because you did mention before, we did say like we're very refined in the 2 tanks for Overwatch 1, but all of the new tanks, those combos are not really there. They're not really tightened, right? Is there a tank combo that you would like to see tightened and know that it's a value that's a new tank combo that we haven't seen yet? With the Overwatch 2, with at least one of the Overwatch 2 tanks.
I think the obvious answer is Queen Diva.
Okay.
I think like Queen is super versatile, and Diva is as well, and they both just kind of covered so much space just by nature of being them. I think they're a better rush comp than like Rein Diva or Rein Zarya or anything else. My sleeper pick is Orisa as an off tank.
Okay.
I think it's like impossible to get past Orisa if she's just playing safe and in the backline. I think you can play her with like Ball, like in place of like a Sigma or a Diva. I think you can play her with Rein, and just sort of like swap frontline back and forth. It's like if she's properly like splitting cooldowns with their other tank and like in a place where she's not taking too much poke, she's like, she's just a wall.
I've had that feeling that she hasn't been utilized well enough, comboing it with other tanks. But okay, I think we'll try and keep an eye out for them. I'll see if I can find some Diva Queen combos and maybe some videos where Orisa is kind of playing the off tank role. I think it'd be really interesting. All right. I will note those for the future. Is there anything else? We got 5 whole viewers right now that you would like to say to the stream, Aether, at all? Brush your teeth,
no.
Clean your room, don't do drugs, stay out of jail.
Do drugs.
Do drugs. All right. Just stay out of, okay. Yeah, you can do them. Just stay out of jail. Where that's the yeah. Sleep early. There we go. Thank you, Frost. That's a good one. Get lots of sleep. That works for me. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming out. It's been a fun stream today. Really interesting. I want to do more of these. Got lots of insights on not necessarily how 6v6, even though we got some 6v6 conversations working, but just like rethinking about how we play those heroes. I really want everybody to notice and to really note for yourselves that the format doesn't really change the idea of skill, right? Again, a Genji that can execute somebody, it doesn't matter whether or not they're 200 health, 250 health, 500 health, all that kind of stuff. If you compare them to other people, you're literally just comparing how well that person can execute. Of course, we can compare cross heroes and how powerful they are and all that kind of stuff. But really what it comes down to is like individual hero expression. And hopefully that's where 6v6 has given individual heroes enough of that 1v1 power that it's not about things like passive healing, right? Or extra health or just stuff that's invisible on the battlefield that keeps the fight going for no reason. Within a proper 6v6 environment, if everybody's doing their job, there's enough sustain to keep the fight going for a reasonable amount of time, but it rewards people that are able to get in there and make that kill really quickly. They're able to go in and execute whatever they're trying to execute. So I think it's a really interesting view on everything. Like I say, we're going to be doing some more streams a little bit later. Well, probably later in the week and probably next week a few times. Like I say, we're going to be doing more of this in general. I think this is just cool. Getting a little more of a macro view on how 6v6 works.